3 weeks later. Since my last entry, life for Jesus and his followers has returned to something like normal. Peter, aka Simon, Andrew, John and James have been busy working to provide for their families. Matthew and Judas have taken over the financial side of their fishing business. This has caused some bewildering conversations, especially concerning the ethics of paying or not paying Roman taxes. In short, Matthew knows every tax scam in the book. Judas would like to try out every tax scam in the book, and Peter insists on unswerving integrity in all his financial affairs. A typical conversation. Judas: didn't Jesus say that the measure we use will be measured to us? All present, except Thomas. Yes. Thomas: I never did understand what he meant by that. Judas: well, the Romans have cheated us and stolen from us with their taxes, so we should use the same measure back to them as a sign of God's judgment on the injustices of their rule. Thomas: oh, is that what Jesus meant? Peter, in an uncompromising tone: no. John: what Jesus said was that if we do not treat the Romans with loving respect, God will not treat us with loving respect. Simon the Zealot, a former terrorist: but the Romans are violent and corrupt. John: Simon, are you telling me that you are not? Simon the Zealot: well, if God knows my every thought and motive, I suppose. John: exactly. Thomas: look, I still don't understand. Everyone: shut up, Thomas. Peter: Matthew and Judas, let me put it like this. For every half-truth and white lie that you include in my tax return, I will insist that you do a night's fishing. Matthew hurriedly: there will be none. Judas bitterly: you can be as unfair as the Romans. Thomas: I don't. All exasperated: Thomas! In these past weeks, Jesus has been keeping to himself, reading the scriptures, praying, thinking, and doing minor repairs for the local people who cannot afford to employ the village carpenter. During these jobs, he's been spending time alone with each of the 12 men who he invited to follow him. He asks them to help him with a job or offers to do some work on their houses or boats. In between, pass me that mallet, will you? And can you hold this as firmly as possible? He's been searching out the level of their commitment to and understanding of his mission. Thomas was the first. Jesus asked him to help put up an ornament shelf for Peter's wife. The following morning, Jesus re-employed him for the task of overhauling Peter's entire fishing fleet. It seems that Jesus also finds Thomas's mind to be rather slow. Jesus has asked me to join him for a walk around the lake tomorrow. He must have something on his mind. The following evening. It was wonderful to spend today with the son, walking through his creation and seeing it from his particular perspective as a human. Every few minutes, Jesus would interrupt our conversation and crouch down to marvel at some tiny creature. I have to confess that such unspiritual beings are almost invisible to my eye, despite Jesus' attempts to teach me how to see them. Mostly, I had to rely on his energetic descriptions. But, for reasons I cannot begin to understand, I managed to see a dung beetle in all its 6-legged glory. The main item on our agenda was the son's plans to move his work into a new phase. I'm becoming quite used to surprises now, and when he informed me that he intends to send his 12 argumentative friends into the villages to preach and do everything that he has been doing, I managed to keep calm and quiet for a while. Being a methodical spirit, I took one issue at a time. About them preaching, I inquired gently. Do you realise how confused they all are by your teaching? Of course I do, he replied plainly. That's why I'm sending them out to teach. Maybe you could explain? I asked, reminding myself that I was talking with the true and only divine being and not any young, irrational human. Think of a ship, he suggested. I'm not very good with things to do with the sea, I replied weakly. Well, you've seen enough of them in the last week. You know, the rudder, the pear-shaped piece of wood that swings on a hinge at the back of the boat. Yes, I said, cautiously trying to remember which was the back and which was the front. The rudder is used for steering the vessel, Jesus explained. But if the boat is stationary in the water, it's useless. Oh. You can only steer a boat with its rudder if the boat is moving, and the faster it's moving, the easier it is to steer. And so I invited him to connect this image with the painful picture of Simon the Zealot proclaiming the depth of divine love. They will never understand my work until they are doing my work, he told me. I see. Would that work with angels too? I asked. I don't see why not. I paused to consider the possibilities of an entirely new approach to angelic training and then returned to the matter before us. And are they going to heal sick people and raise dead ones too? Of course. How? The same way that I do, the son replied casually. If you don't mind me asking, I said, how do you do it? Oriel, he said with surprise. Surely you know that. No, I don't. But you were with me at creation. You must remember I said, let there be light. And there was light. In just the same way, if I say to a lame man, walk, he can. Or to the sea, be still, and it is, I said, picking up a recent theme. But you are what they call God, and they are feeble little humans. I am going to give them my authority, the son explained. Think, Oriel, when you give some minor cherub a message that is an order to another angel and they say, do this to that angel, they do so not with their own authority but with yours. And that angel obeys the command as if you were telling them yourself. That is mostly true, I observed. That is how it will be with the 12. They will say, be healed on my authority, and the sick body will obey, just as if I were standing there myself. It's exactly the same. So, could I heal sick humans? I asked with interest. No, you couldn't, he replied. This authority is not being given to angels, but it is being given to humans. From tomorrow, yes. I have to confess that I found this conversation quite shocking. We angels had been serving our boss since before the universe was ever called into being. You humans, on the other hand, only recently arrived on the scene and have been there for a tiny fraction of the time that we spent tending those great ugly brutes, the dinosaurs. Today I discovered that my boss is entrusting a responsibility to you that he has never given to even the most senior of his angels. I am sure that the son noticed my disappointment, but we had other matters to discuss, so I pressed on. I assume, I said with growing doubt, that your fisherman friends will not be giving orders to opposition spirits in the same way that you do. You assume wrong, Oriel, the son informed me. From tomorrow, these 12 men will be doing everything that I have been doing. I've been given my father's authority because I am his son. I am now giving that authority to those who have loved me and trust me. Disturbed and astounded, I blurted out, are these humans going to become children of your father as well? I must get home, Jesus replied. I need to get ready for tomorrow. With that, he turned and strode off towards Capernaum. I stayed, 1,000 questions flooding my mind. If my boss is leaving the battle against the opposition to humans, what will be left for angels to do? Here I sit still, a timeless spirit drifting in the powerful currents of time. And now, It looks as though my time has come.